Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we will unlock the book Asking the Right Questions, a guide to critical thinking. Do you know why the United States launched the war against Iraq 30 years ago? Was it to defend human rights and protect the Kuwaiti people from Iraq's invasion? No, the true reason was that the US government did not want Iraq to become a hegemony in the Middle East and then threaten global oil supplies. In fact, the U.S. Congress originally did not approve the military attack proposed by the president. So what changed their minds and caused them to finally authorize the use of force? The story begins at a hearing held by the Senate and House of Representatives where they examined the necessity of the march into Iraq. At the congressional hearing, a 14-year-old girl named Nira told how she was working as a volunteer in the largest local hospital in Kuwait the day after Iraq invaded the country. She saw Iraqi soldiers rush into the hospital, snatch the electronic incubators, and throw the premature babies on the ground where more than a dozen of them died from the cold. Her testimony struck a deep chord, and in the end, the votes in favor of the war exceeded the votes against it. However, it was only after the war ended that everyone discovered Nira's father was the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States. Her testimony was nothing more than political propaganda. If you had been there during Nira's testimony, would you also have been misled into supporting sending troops? Why wouldn't you realize that the testimony was false? The reason is that our brains are very dependent on certain ways of thinking which can easily lead us astray, and thus we are guided by our emotions, rather than logical thinking. We have to make decisions in various life situations. For instance, would you cure myopia with laser surgery? How do you judge whether a presidential candidate is suitable for the position? What is an effective way to lose weight? Experts often cannot give unified opinions on these issues, and information from the outside world is complex and chaotic. If we cannot think independently and rely merely on what we're told, we become sheep who are easily led astray. The book Asking the Right Questions gives a set of practical methods to help you master critical thinking. This skill not only allows you to better distinguish truth from misinformation, but also helps you write essays objectively with clear logic. The main author of this book, M.Neil Browne, is a professor in the economics department at Bowling Green State University. He also earned his Ph.D. in law at the University of Toledo and is the main speaker of the International Critical Thinking Conference. He has provided training on critical thinking skills for faculty at dozens of universities, including the University of Wisconsin. Meanwhile, he also provides training and consulting services for many institutions and companies, including the U.S. National Security Agency, the Russian State Secret Service, IBM Asia Pacific, LEGO, and the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory. The co-author of this book, Stuart M. Keeley, earned his Ph.D. in psychology from the University of Illinois. He is also a professor in the psychology department at Bowling Green State University. Now, we will unlock this book for you in the following 2 parts. Part 1, What Stop You from Thinking Critically? Part 2, How to Master Critical Thinking. Do you know what critical thinking is? You may have heard this term before, but are unsure of the exact meaning. The authors believe that critical